Hello everybody, now this is Sonia. I didn't do a lot more, but I've come back because I wanted to show you how to actually, you know, what I'm actually working on as I'm going, because it might be a lot easier if people can see a lot of the whole process. So what I've only done so far is just covered over these shelfy bits, except for these two pieces. So what I've done is I've cut out the piece of paper, okay, it's the same size as that. Well, actually this one's gone crooked. You know what, after you look at squares for a while, they start to be a little bit and I was following the squares when I was cutting this out. Your eyes start to go a bit weird after. That's really strange, that, you know, because you'd think it'd be a lot easier to follow the squares as a line to draw along. But anyway, so we're going to get along here and we're going to put that underneath the bottom. I have to cut a little bit off the end when I stick it on. Hopefully I'll get it on there quick enough before this gets too thick and dries. Now if it does, I hope this is the one I cut out, if it does get, you don't want it to be bubbly, like, you know, it's not easy to do that either, isn't it? Look at that, it did go a bit bubbly. You've got to be quicker if you're using hot glue, otherwise just use a wet glue of some sort. The tacky ones might be okay. I haven't actually tried, but you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to use the tacky glue now to see how it works because your glue gun's not covering every space. So I've had it sitting up the right way, but look at this there, it seems like the end's plugged up in this a bit. Let me see if I won't using these pins to unplug these things. Unplug, might be a bit of work. There we go, now that should come out there now. Hopefully. Where was that bit I had? See, we might be better off to use glue. It's still not moving. Come along now, that's the way. I've got can I get it all out? Maybe not. I don't think I would have had the end off this. I didn't when I picked it up. I'm sure I didn't. I guess this cold weather's not good for glue. Not that cold though. We've had really good weather here actually. It's been really great. Temperature's about 25 degrees through the day. It's supposed to be going to be winter time soon. It's not seeming to be getting here. Okay, so unplugging the glue. Look, see, that's gone and dried. Looks dreadful. I'm tearing it because it's lumpy. Look at that. Righto. Let's get this off here. We're not going to be happy with this at all. The other stuff what I've put on so far is okay. But this one here that I just did, we've got all these big lumps. I don't want lumps. I'm not using the glue gun for that anymore. I was using it because I wanted to stick the shelves in with it, but don't put your paper on. Look, it's not really worth it. It doesn't look right, you know. Gluing paper with a hot glue gun, unless you're really experienced and can handle it. I don't think it's my idea of. It's only I don't know. I can only use it to put on embellishments maybe or things like that. I can't handle glue sitting up there. That there is a little bit wrinkly, which is not going to make it easy for my little shoes to sit on. So you know what, I'm going to make sure that that's up that way so the shoes won't be tipping over, because I'm going to just use this here now. I'll get some more paper. Oh, sorry about this snivelling thing. Everything just comes weird at you, doesn't it, when you're trying to do a video? Don't worry about me. I'm all good. Okay. So we're going to use this now, and hopefully it won't be too long drying, because I don't want that either. I don't want to be I can't remember how quick or whatever this works. This is a tacky glue, it is called. Now I'm going to put it on here a little bit over the edge, I think. do you know what, I'm going to wait until I glue the other pieces of paper on first, because you want them to butt together. Well, actually there's not going to be paper on that bit, is there? Now this is the way I want it to go in when I do it. Still fitting okay, still covering it though. I might have to put a nice little trim across here somewhere too. So now I need to do the underneath. Which bit is the bubbly bit? That bit there. That's got to be underneath that way. Okay, so now I need to do the second shelf, and I'm going to put an arrow on this so I know that it goes bottom. Okay, that's what I'm trying to write there, bottom. Alright, now I'm going to get another piece of paper and take a bit off here, make sure it's long enough, there, and wide enough along that, which is really, I'm cheating in a way. Well, I'm cheating because I'm following the little squares as lines. It makes it a little bit easier. Okay, now I'm going to put that in here, but of course you would cut it out. Because I measured the outside, the inside piece is going to be way too long, so what I'm going to do is sit it in there and measure it this way, and make sure it's something that I really rather cut it a little bit bigger and take a little bit off, because you don't want it in bits and pieces. It just, you know, it gets scary, doesn't it, if it's not nice. Righto, now we'll stick this in here. Leave my bottle laying down because I don't want to stand up in that thing, because it's not got a lid on. I ain't got time to do that 20 gluing section. Right, now that bit's done like so. It comes over the side a little bit. We're going to have to cut that off. Well, that's not going to be easy. These great big scissors. It's a shame. I must have actually did one little row too wide. I'll go this way. It's gonna can't get it. These scissors, that's what it is. I'll have to get the new ones out soon, I suppose. Can't we keep it? Yeah, I got it. Right, nobody panic. We got that. Okay, now definitely we'll be using things to cover it over, like bits of lace and so forth. Maybe lace, maybe not. I don't know. Trim of some sort. Now, the inside bits, I've got to put something in them. So I'm going to put this in here, because while I was doing this I was thinking, now what am I going to do when I put it in there? How am I going to cover it? And I thought, well, I'm going to have to show people how to do that. When I figure it out, I'll show, well, as I'm going, we're figuring it out, aren't we? So we're going to stick that bit in there, and because it's sort of like the check, it looks pretty good. It's not too out, like, you know, I see a bit of the glue there. You need these little corners to be nicely. People would distress them corners if they're making something antique-y, and that way you wouldn't see the unfortunate pieces. It doesn't matter, it'll look good when I'm finished, I'm hoping. There we go. So that's good. Now I'm going to have to, yeah, so I searched everywhere for the dollhouse thing. I think I said that in the last video, and I'm not very happy that I couldn't find anything that I could do a bit at a time, but, you know, pay for it as you go sort of thing, because then you could, that'd be good, wouldn't it? They used to have them in the magazines once, and you used to be able to make it, you know, as you were going along. Like in a magazine, you'd get the bits. But actually, to be honest with you, I did try that, I remember, and it wasn't very good. When I tried it, the quality of the first things that I received was not very good, and I thought, well, if that's going to be like that, I'm not buying any more of those, because after you get your initial things up front, then it costs you about $14 a month, I think, or it could have been weekly, I don't know, but it would have ended up costing me a lot of money, which is, that's okay, but you don't want to, you want to get something worthwhile. You don't want nothing crappy. if you're going to do that. Now I'm sitting back here not worrying about you looking at what I've got out. Am I? This is not good. There we go. Right, now I think I've got it trimmed up a little nicely. A bit nicely. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I must have drew on the inside of that by accident. Now, I know I could have kept the side bits covered because I should probably do that now. Because you know what? I could have brought that down there and along there so it would hold it nicer. But it's not going to go anywhere once I stick it in there, is it? So I'm going to recover this and just not panic about it at all this time. Just leave it on there. Okay, take it right across the back. What do you reckon? And then I'll have the back done too. Or should I just put something? Okay, so I'll stick that in there. And if I stick that in there, I'll put this in here. Put some frilly stuff. Or some braid or something. We'll find something to put on there. Let me see now. Do I want to cut that there? Right. Love the way I measure. But it's going to work. I wonder if I can get it around the whole thing. Yep. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the whole thing. Righto. And that way it'll be finished off completely nice. And then I need to do the top bit. Just cutting along here. Losing my eyesight to the squares. Oh dear. You're square blind it must be. I know people say that when they look at that chevron pattern. Mouthful of water, talking too much. When you look at the chevron pattern too much you can go blind. Because it just, your eyes can't focus on it anymore after a while. Okay, so let's put this in here. Which was a good thing I took that out of there anyway, because it's we want to put the whole piece into the whole thing. Now, before I get too excited about this, I want to make sure that the shell's still going to go in, because as I'm wrapping it I could be making it smaller. You know how that works? You could be actually making it smaller because you could be pulling it in tighter. I probably should put the top thing on, but I will work on that later. That can be something that we'll do further down the track here today. Let me see now. We're going to put that round in there. But before we stick in it down, we're going to make sure that it's cozy. Right, it's going to be nice and cozy there. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do that, but I'm going to put a line where I want my paper to come to, so I can cut it off along here before I stick it down. I reckon I can get the right one if I look at it across that way. Okay, let's go. Okay. I've got a few entries in my challenge. Not a lot, but that's okay. A lot of people have said they've sent them. It takes a long time for the mail to come near me, and it takes a long time for my mail to go to anybody else. I just can't believe how long it takes the mailman. He's annoying. You know what? Yesterday I sent a parcel to my brother in the top end of Queensland, okay? It cost me $7 something, which I was quite happy to pay. That was okay. But if I wanted it to send it express, well, you know, that's all right. You can pay another $2 something. So I paid $10.35, I think. Now, that's a good trot away from my place. I mean, it takes about, it'll take a day or more to get up there, you know, to where he lives. If you kept going all day and you didn't have a break. And I've got a gap here that's not impressive. So anyway, I paid the express thing, right? Gets on the internet this morning, put in a tracking thing to see how long it was going to take to get there, and it says if sometimes the express thing is not running at one or other locations, so it might not get there when they... Well, bless me soul. I thought, what is the matter with you people? The post is so, I guess I never really noticed it before because I didn't really use it as much as I have been. But I could not believe it. If it's not actually operating at the time between, like, at where he is or our location, it might not get there when they say so. Yeah, dear, oh dear, oh dear, that exasperates me. Well, so does this. Don't know what to do about that unless I go that way. Yes, I can do that. It's really not what I had in mind, but let's just go with that because we're going to be here forever if we don't stop fiddling about. Now, most of you have probably turned it off anyway, but that doesn't matter. You won't be able to know how to do one of these if you did. No, that's not very nice. I didn't mean to be like that. I'm sorry. Oh, dearie me. No, just the postman. It's all his fault, I tell you. All his fault. Couldn't believe it. I mean, I didn't mind paying a little bit extra because I said it'd get there in 2 or 3 days. So then when I goes on there, it says, well, it didn't go, it said that they might not be able to get that there when they say so because they might not be working at, the express part might not be working at that sort of time. I thought, geez, you people, it's a big have, all this post. It's a big have. Now, this is ending up being patchy, isn't it? Because the Sonya's been rattling on here. Okay, so that's going to have to go down there and down there to make that a bit more. Got glue and rolled of it everywhere, haven't I? Bits of glue rolled all over the place around me. Okay, sorry, I'm not here with you. Wait a minute, now I am. Right, so this is going to come up around this way because I want to cover that over. Righto, yeah, that's better. That's nicely now, isn't it? The glue's not very, it doesn't stick very fast. It's not very quick. Not very quick dry and tacky stuff, no. But anyway. Oh dear, now I've dropped it on the floor. Oh, crikey. Where is the damn thing? If that was me peeping up the camera, I'm not happy. Oh dear. Righto, let's cover this over here. Right, it'd be a good idea if I come back into the shot, wouldn't it? Be a really good idea if I come back into the shot. I always get my chair caught on something, and the back of it, I think, it's come undone. And it's really slack of me not to get that fixed, isn't it? When you're in here, you think about it. When you're not, you don't. That's just how it is. Like that with lots of things, isn't it? When you're there with them there. And you know what? This should have been tucked under that front bit for the finishing off purposes. Which I should have done that, but it'll have trim around it too, so we won't worry too much, I guess. It's something I've learnt a lot about since I would never have done this once because I would have had to finish it without having any trim if I'd have made something, because I wouldn't have thought to put lots of trim on. It's a good idea. Works for lots of things, doesn't it? I'm not saying it's not bad at all because it's really good. It looks nice too. The more, you do a bit more finishing off and it's really worth it in the long run. And I just cut that off instead of turning it over. Oh dear, Sonya, you got that. You can trim that too with something pretty. Okay, righto. Now we'll cover this over with lots of glue here. We're going to glue crazy so it will stay on, hopefully. Will stay on. There we go. I'll bet you and people out there that do this paperwork are absolutely laughing. There's a funny way that I went about this. You know what? It's all learning, see? I only know how to use material. Oh, well, that's not true. I've learned to do this too. Well, I would have covered it in fabric, you know, in any other time. Would have. I don't know why I used paper. Just for the finished look, I suppose. I must have been after that. Righto. Now the bit there goes on the bottom. Crikey, we could actually see something happening here in a minute, and I'll come back and decorate it with you if you like. I'm going to put this on here because it's got to go to the bottom. Remember, I put that on there. So no, that's not the glue I want to use. I'm going to wipe that off. I'm going to use the hot glue gun because I'm going to want it to stick there and stay there, I hope. One. Putting heaps on, I am really going to town on that. Now, I'm not worrying about too much about how the distance, because I think the distance will be good for all size shoes, because when I did put that one in there, it worked okay. Yeah, because we've got all these bits and pieces, we've got lumpy bits and what have you. Like, you know, we need to cover that over, so let me make it nice and pretty, won't we? Okay. Now, the bottom bit here, need to cut this off. It's going to sit straight on there, and we're going to glue that onto so it won't tip over. So we do not want that to happen. Now, I'm going to do this properly. Glue up along there, down along here without burning myself, and back up along here. And I've got to get it pretty much on the centre. I think I've got it. I think I might have it. Definitely needs some tweaking. Look at this. Very bad cutting out. But I'm pleased with it anyway, because I can fix that. I'm going to put something on it and fix it and make it look nice. There's how you try to make a cupboard for your Barbie doll things. Now, if I was doing this for my house, I'd probably do this one to work out how to do it, and then I'd do the real one, you know. So you'd have a... If I did this and I was partially satisfied with it, I'd probably just take off the bits I wasn't happy with it and fix it up as I was going along, because I'd want it to be right, you know. Now, I'm just going to sit in a couple of shoes and see what it looks like. I can turn around and show you in a second, and I just do this because I think I'm going to have to stick these in for permanent, you know, so that we'll stay there for good, you know. We don't want them falling out every time you move it, do we? I'm not going to be able to show you this at all unless I get the camera off the stand. And I might have to do that because I'm going to cry if this all tips over everywhere. Now, I really want to put more stuff on this to make it look nice, you know, because I don't like the end result at all. And I like all the bits that's a bit yucky hanging out there. Right, I'm going to stick them in here, and then I'm going to take the camera down and I'll show you what it looks like, okay? If you just bear with me for a minute. And then I'm going to come back in, because I want to put a... I want to put the decoration on it. I've got to go find something that'll look nice. And I'm going to stick them in, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what I did. See what you think, okay? See what, oh dear, come on, sit up you little dear, that's the way. Well, see, the first thing that'll happen if I go to show you is it's all going to go sideways and all tip everywhere, isn't it? So I'll take the camera down a second. You just give me a minute. I'll stick that in there. Now when I fix it, it's going to be absolutely awesome. Look at this. What do you reckon about that, eh? Isn't that cool? I'm excited. Now just fix the cupboard a bit more. Cover over all the nasty bits, okay? So I'll be back in a second. Won't be long. Bye.